What if life on Earth doesn't always move forward in a straight line? What if, in quiet corners of the planet, time itself can bend, pause, or gently rewind? Right now, as you sit still and listen, the Earth beneath you is alive in ways that rarely make headlines. Not loud, not dramatic, just endlessly patient. Life here doesn't rush. It experiments, it adapts, it waits. In warm ocean waters, drifting almost unnoticed, exists a creature so small and delicate that most people will never see it. And yet it carries an ability that feels impossible. When its body is damaged, stressed, or growing old, it doesn't always die. Instead, its cells begin to reorganize. Slowly, carefully, it transforms back into an earlier stage of itself. Not metaphorically, literally, life pressing the reset button. This isn't magic, it's biology, observed, documented, and quietly accepted by science. A reminder that nature doesn't follow the rules we assume are universal. And the ocean is only the beginning. On land, forests appear calm and still. Trees stand silently, rooted in place, seeming separate from one another. But beneath the soil, hidden from view, something extraordinary is happening. Thin threads of living fungi weave between roots, forming vast underground networks. Through these pathways, trees share nutrients. They send chemical warnings. They support weaker neighbors. An older tree may pass energy to a younger one struggling in the shade. A forest, it turns out, is not a collection of individuals. It is a community. No central brain, no voice, just cooperation written into the system itself. Even the smallest forms of life carry astonishing resilience. There are creatures so tiny that hundreds could fit on the head of a pin, yet they can survive freezing cold, extreme heat, crushing pressure, intense radiation, and even the vacuum of space. When conditions become unbearable, they shut themselves down almost completely. Metabolism pauses, time slows, and they wait. Months, years, sometimes longer. When water returns, they awaken as if nothing ever happened. Life on Earth does not simply cling to survival, it masters it. And as you begin to notice these patterns, a quiet truth starts to emerge. Life isn't fragile in the way we often think. It's flexible, inventive, persistent beyond imagination. This planet is not just a stage where life performs. It is an active participant, shaping, testing, and reshaping what it means to exist. Tonight, we're not rushing through facts, we're listening. Because the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. Earth has been telling a story for billions of years, and we are only just learning how to hear it. Life on Earth doesn't hurry to explain itself. It unfolds slowly, often in ways that seem almost accidental. And yet, again and again, the same pattern appears. When conditions change, life doesn't panic, it transforms. Long before humans walked this planet, Earth's air was unrecognizable. There was a time when oxygen, the very thing filling your lungs right now, was deadly. Early life thrived without it. For those ancient organisms, oxygen was poison, corroding cells and breaking down the chemistry that kept them alive. Then, quietly, something changed. Tiny photosynthetic microbes began releasing oxygen as waste. At first, It was barely noticeable, but over millions of years, oxygen accumulated in the oceans and atmosphere. The planet shifted. For many forms of life, this invisible gas caused extinction on a massive scale. And yet, some survived. Those survivors learned to use oxygen instead of fearing it. They unlocked a powerful new way to extract energy. From that shift came complexity, multicellular organisms, movement, eventually consciousness. Every breath you take carries the memory of that ancient catastrophe. Life didn't avoid disaster, it evolved through it. This resilience appears everywhere once you start looking. In frozen forests of North America, winter becomes so intense that some frogs don't merely sleep through it, they freeze completely. Their hearts stop, their blood turns to ice, their bodies become stiff and silent beneath the snow. And yet, they are not dead. Special sugars flood their cells, protecting delicate structures from damage. When spring returns and the ice melts, the frog's heart begins beating again. It wakes, it moves. Life resumes as if nothing happened. Not survival by strength, but by surrender. Even plants, rooted and still, have learned strategies that feel almost intentional. In nutrient-poor soil, where survival seems unlikely, some plants don't wait for the earth to provide. They hunt. Insects are lured, trapped, and slowly digested. Nitrogen is taken directly from living prey. Patience replaces speed. Design replaces force. And beneath all of this runs a deeper truth. Life is not always loud. It doesn't always announce itself with motion or sound. Sometimes its greatest achievements happen quietly, at scales too small or too slow for us to notice. Microscopic organisms endure radiation that would tear human DNA apart. Others wait decades, even centuries, as dormant seeds buried in darkness, holding life in perfect suspension until conditions are right. Waiting is not weakness, it is strategy. As these stories layer together, something subtle begins to shift in the way we see the world. Earth is not fragile glass, easily shattered. It is a system built on adaptation, on second chances, on endless experimentation. And the more closely we listen, the clearer it becomes. Life does not resist change, it learns from it. As life adapts and survives, another quiet principle begins to surface. Life rarely thrives alone. Across Earth, survival is often shared, distributed across relationships so subtle they escape notice. Strength, in many cases, does not belong to individuals, but to networks. In forests, trees appear solitary, each standing on its own, but beneath the soil, a different story unfolds. Vast webs of fungi stretch between roots, forming living highways through the ground. Through these threads, nutrients move from tree to tree. Chemical signals pass warnings. Support flows toward the young, the shaded, the struggling. An old tree may nourish seedlings it will never see grow tall. A weakened tree may receive help from neighbors it never touches. No central control guides this exchange. It emerges naturally, shaped by time. Connection becomes survival. The same principle appears inside the human body. Trillions of microscopic organisms live within you, on your skin, in your mouth, deep within your gut. They are not invaders, they are collaborators. Together, they help digest food, regulate immune responses, and even influence how your brain processes stress and emotion. You are not a single organism, you are an ecosystem. And this cooperation does not require awareness, it requires compatibility. Elsewhere, intelligence forms without brains at all. In tropical regions, colonies of ants move as if they are one organism. When they encounter gaps or obstacles, individuals link their bodies together, forming living bridges that shift and adjust as others cross. Each ant responds only to immediate signals: pressure, movement, contact. Yet the structure that emerges is precise, efficient, and temporary. When the need passes, the bridge dissolves. No memory, no command, just coordination. Even light becomes a tool for connection. In dark ocean waters, tiny drifting organisms emit flashes of blue when disturbed. A movement triggers a glow, a ripple sends signals outward. This light can confuse predators, attract mates, or reveal the presence of something larger moving nearby. The sea speaks in brief, silent sparks. Across all of this, a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Life does not depend solely on toughness or speed. It depends on relationship, on responsiveness, on the ability to link behavior to the presence of others. Earth is not built from isolated survivors. It is built from systems that share. As this realization settles, the idea of individuality begins to soften. Boundaries blur. Organisms merge into processes. What looks separate from the surface becomes inseparable beneath it. Perhaps this is why life feels resilient even in fragile environments. When one part weakens, others adjust. When one fails, another compensates. Life persists not because it stands alone, it persists because it connects. And as we move deeper into this quiet story, that connection begins to include us, not as observers, but as participants woven into the same living web. As connection weaves life together, another quiet force shapes what endures. Scale. Life on Earth operates across ranges so vast they're difficult to hold in the mind. Some processes unfold in fractions of a second, others take centuries, still others span millions of years. And yet, all of them overlap, influencing one another continuously. At microscopic scales, cells divide, repair, and communicate at astonishing speed. Chemical reactions fire in milliseconds. Signals travel across membranes, adjusting behavior long before awareness could ever form. These tiny actions create stability at larger levels, keeping bodies alive moment to moment. Zoom out slightly, and patterns slow. Plants track the sun across the sky. Animals follow seasonal rhythms. Migration aligns with temperature, light, and food availability. Life learns to move with time rather than against it, syncing behavior to cycles older than memory. At even larger scales, ecosystems emerge. Forests regulate water flow. Wetlands filter toxins. Coral reefs buffer coastlines from storms. No single organism plans these outcomes. They arise because many small interactions reinforce one another, layer by layer, year after year. Function emerges from accumulation. And beyond ecosystems, Earth itself shifts. Ice ages come and go, sea levels rise and fall, continents drift, imperceptibly slow yet powerful enough to reshape climate and evolution. Life responds not by resisting these movements, but by adjusting to their pace. Speed is not always an advantage. Alignment is. This perspective changes how resilience looks. Survival does not belong to the fastest or the strongest, but to those whose timing matches their environment. Too slow and opportunities are missed. Too fast and systems destabilize. Balance depends on scale. Some organisms live for hours, others for centuries. Giant trees outlast generations of animals beneath their canopies. Long-lived species often stabilize ecosystems, providing continuity while faster lives flicker around them. Even memory follows scale. DNA carries instructions across millennia. Behavior passes knowledge across generations. Landscapes preserve traces of ancient climates in rock and sediment. Earth remembers in layers, each operating at its own tempo. As these scales overlap, life gains depth. Short-term reactions allow immediate survival. Long-term patterns guide evolution. Together, they create systems that can respond quickly without losing continuity. This is why sudden disruptions feel so powerful. They compress change into timescales life struggles to match. Systems designed for gradual adjustment are forced to respond instantly, and not all can. Still, Earth absorbs the shock. Some processes fail, others adapt. Over time, new scales of balance emerge, different from before but functional in their own way. Nothing returns to exactly what it was, but something continues. Understanding scale softens the need for certainty. Life does not promise permanence. It offers persistence through adjustment, spread across timeframes far larger than any single moment. As we drift further into this awareness, the story of Earth becomes less about individual events and more about rhythm, fast and slow, small and vast, fleeting and enduring, all moving together. And within that movement, life keeps finding room to exist. As scale shapes life's rhythm, another quiet force guides what survives: energy. Every living thing on Earth is part of a vast exchange, a continuous movement of energy from one form to another. Nothing creates energy, nothing keeps it forever. Life simply borrows it, uses it briefly, and passes it on. Most of this energy begins far away, in the steady light of the sun. When sunlight reaches Earth, only a small fraction is captured by plants and algae. Through photosynthesis, light becomes sugar, stored chemical energy. From there, it moves outward, into leaves, stems, roots, and onward into animals that eat plants and animals that eat other animals. Energy flows upward, but never without loss. At each step, much of it escapes as heat. That loss shapes ecosystems. It explains how many layers a food web can support. It explains why predators are fewer than prey, why large animals need vast territories, why abundance is never evenly distributed. Efficiency matters. Life does not aim to waste energy, but it accepts loss as inevitable. Systems evolve to work within that constraint, finding ways to survive on what remains. Some organisms specialize in conserving energy. Sloths move slowly. Deep-sea creatures drift instead of swimming. Desert animals become nocturnal, avoiding the cost of daytime heat. Stillness becomes a strategy. Others take the opposite approach. Hummingbirds burn energy at astonishing rates, their hearts racing, wings blurring. They survive by feeding constantly, matching high output with high intake. Different strategies, same principle: balance between gain and cost. Even ecosystems manage energy collectively. Forests store energy in wood. Grasslands cycle it quickly through grazing animals. Oceans distribute it across currents and food chains, supporting life thousands of feet below the surface, where sunlight never reaches. Nothing exists outside this exchange. When energy flow is disrupted, systems change. If less sunlight reaches the ground, plants adjust or disappear. If nutrients are blocked, productivity drops. Life responds not with intention, but with rearrangement. Paths close, new ones open. Over time, energy shapes form itself. Large brains require enormous fuel. Flight demands lightweight bodies. Cold environments favor insulation. Hot ones reward efficiency. Biology becomes physics, written in flesh. Understanding this flow shifts perspective. Life is not a collection of objects, but a pattern of movement. Energy entering, transforming, leaving. Bodies are temporary structures through which this current passes. Nothing holds it, nothing owns it. And yet, through this constant exchange, complexity emerges, memory forms, relationships persist, all powered by borrowed light. As we sit quietly within this system, breathing energy released by plants we will never see, we are reminded of our place in the flow, not separate from it, not above it, just another form energy takes for a while. And when it moves on, something else will rise to receive it. As scale shapes life's rhythm, another quiet force guides what survives. Energy. Every living thing on Earth is part of a vast exchange, a continuous movement of energy from one form to another. Nothing creates energy. Nothing keeps it forever. Life simply borrows it, uses it briefly, and passes it on. Most of this energy begins far away, in the steady light of the sun. When sunlight reaches Earth, only a small fraction is captured by plants and algae. Through photosynthesis, light becomes sugar, stored chemical energy. From there, it moves outward, into leaves, stems, roots, and onward into animals that eat plants and animals that eat other animals. Energy flows upward, but never without loss. At each step, much of it escapes as heat. That loss shapes ecosystems. It explains how many layers a food web can support. It explains why predators are fewer than prey, why large animals need vast territories, why abundance is never evenly distributed. Efficiency matters. Life does not aim to waste energy, but it accepts loss as inevitable. Systems evolve to work within that constraint, finding ways to survive on what remains. Some organisms specialize in conserving energy. Sloths move slowly. Deep-sea creatures drift instead of swimming. Desert animals become nocturnal, avoiding the cost of daytime heat. Stillness becomes a strategy. Others take the opposite approach. Hummingbirds burn energy at astonishing rates, their hearts racing, wings blurring. They survive by feeding constantly, matching high output with high intake. Different strategies, same principle. Balance between gain and cost. Even ecosystems manage energy collectively. Forests store energy in wood. Grasslands cycle it quickly through grazing animals. Oceans distribute it across currents and food chains, supporting life thousands of feet below the surface, where sunlight never reaches. Nothing exists outside this exchange. When energy flow is disrupted, systems change. If less sunlight reaches the ground, plants adjust or disappear. If nutrients are blocked, productivity drops. Life responds not with intention, but with rearrangement. Paths close, new ones open. Over time, energy shapes form itself. Large brains require enormous fuel. Flight demands lightweight bodies. Cold environments favor insulation. Hot ones reward efficiency. Biology becomes physics, written in flesh. Understanding this flow shifts perspective. Life is not a collection of objects, but a pattern of movement. Energy entering, transforming, leaving. Bodies are temporary structures through which this current passes. Nothing holds it, nothing owns it. And yet, through this constant exchange, complexity emerges, memory forms, relationships persist, all powered by borrowed light. As we sit quietly within this system, breathing energy released by plants we will never see, we are reminded of our place in the flow, not separate from it, not above it, just another form energy takes for a while. And when it moves on, something else will rise to receive it. As information moves through life, it slowly gives rise to something rare: awareness. Not suddenly, not everywhere, but in quiet pockets where complexity becomes dense enough to notice itself. Awareness does not appear as a switch that turns on. It emerges gradually, shaped by layers of sensing, responding, and remembering. Long before thoughts existed, life learned how to feel the world: light, pressure, temperature, chemistry. These sensations guided movement. Over time, they began to connect. Nervous systems formed not to think, but to coordinate. In simple creatures, awareness is immediate and narrow. A touch triggers movement. A change in light alters direction. There is no reflection, only response. But as systems grow more complex, responses begin to integrate. Past experiences influence present behavior. The world gains context. Something like a point of view appears. In certain animals, this awareness deepens further. They recognize patterns, they solve problems, they remember individuals. Some can plan briefly ahead, choosing between options based on expectation rather than instinct alone. And in a few cases, something even more unusual occurs. An animal recognizes itself. When confronted with a reflection, most creatures respond as if facing another being. But a small number pause, they investigate, they touch markings on their own bodies rather than the image. The reflection is not treated as other, it is understood as self. This moment is quiet, easily missed, but it marks a profound shift. Awareness folds inward, the observer becomes part of what is observed. Earth does not guarantee this outcome, it allows it. Awareness evolves only where it offers advantage. Brains consume enormous energy, they are costly to maintain. Without benefit, they disappear. This is why intelligence takes so many forms, some social, some solitary, some distributed across groups rather than concentrated in individuals. Awareness is shaped by need. Even so, it brings vulnerability. To be aware is to experience loss, to remember pain, to anticipate danger. Consciousness opens possibilities, but it also opens depth. Grief, fear, curiosity, wonder, these are not accidents. They are consequences of sensing the world with continuity. Elephants pause with their dead. Whales alter behavior after loss. Certain birds show signs of distress when separated from companions. These are not human emotions, but they are not nothing. They suggest that awareness carries weight. As this weight accumulates, life does not become superior, it becomes sensitive, more responsive, more deeply embedded in consequence. And here, awareness reaches a turning point. It begins to shape the environment, not just respond to it. Tools appear, fire spreads, landscapes change faster than geology alone would allow. Earth enters a new phase of interaction, one where awareness feeds back into the systems that produced it, not outside nature, not above it, still within. And as we move forward in this quiet story, we begin to sense the significance of that moment, when a planet old enough and complex enough produced beings capable of noticing the story itself. Awareness did not arrive to end the process. It arrived as part of it. As awareness begins to shape the world, Earth responds in quiet but measurable ways. Change accelerates. When thinking organisms alter their surroundings, the planet does not judge or resist. It adjusts. Rivers are redirected. Forests thin and regrow. New materials enter cycles that once moved only through stone, water, and living tissue. What feels unprecedented to us is simply another variable to Earth. Life has always modified its environment. Early microbes changed the atmosphere. Plants transformed barren land into soil. Coral animals built reefs from minerals dissolved in seawater. Awareness-driven change is not a departure from this pattern, it is an intensification of it. Speed becomes the difference. Natural systems are shaped for gradual shifts. Awareness allows for rapid ones. Tools multiply effects. Decisions echo far beyond the moment they're made. A single action can ripple outward through ecosystems, climates, and generations. This creates tension. Not moral tension, physical tension. Systems designed for slow feedback suddenly face fast input. Some adapt, others fracture. Balance wavers, then searches for a new configuration. Earth does not collapse, it recalibrates. In response to disruption, new niches appear. Species move, behaviors change. Life experiments again, just as it always has. The outcomes are uncertain, but the process is familiar. Adjustment follows disturbance. This does not mean consequences are gentle. Many are not. Loss occurs. Diversity narrows before expanding again. The story is not comforting, but it is consistent. Earth has never promised comfort, only continuity. Awareness, however, introduces something unusual into this process: choice. For the first time, a form of life can anticipate outcomes and alter behavior before consequences fully unfold. This ability is incomplete and imperfect, but it exists. It allows for restraint as well as impact, preservation as well as transformation. The planet absorbs both. This moment in Earth's history is not defined by dominance or failure, but by sensitivity. Small changes matter more. Feedback arrives faster. The margin for error narrows. And yet, possibility widens. Awareness can learn. It can listen. It can adjust not only to survive, but to reduce harm. These capacities are not guaranteed to be used well, but they are present. Earth does not require perfection from awareness. It responds to behavior, whatever form it takes. As this understanding settles, urgency begins to soften into responsibility. Not imposed from outside, but emerging naturally from connection. To affect a system is to be part of it. To shape outcomes is to share in them. Awareness does not stand apart from Earth's story. It becomes one of its most powerful chapters. And as we continue drifting through this quiet exploration, one truth grows clearer. The future of life on this planet will not be written by force alone, nor by chance alone. It will emerge from interaction between awareness and the world that gave rise to it. Still ongoing, still unfolding. As interaction deepens, Earth reveals another quiet pattern. Nothing here is static. Even when landscapes appear still, they are moving, slowly, persistently, without pause. Change is not an interruption to Earth's story, it is the story. Mountains rise through pressure so gradual it escapes human perception. Rivers shift course, carving new paths grain by grain. Coastlines retreat and advance with the rhythm of tides and time. What feels permanent is often only slow. Life mirrors this movement. Species do not arrive fully formed. They drift into existence through countless small variations, most unnoticed, some transformative. Over generations, these changes accumulate until something new stands where something old once was. There is no clear moment of becoming, only continuous adjustment. This applies to ecosystems as well. A forest today is not the same forest it was decades ago, even if it looks unchanged. Individual trees grow, age, and fall. Species composition shifts subtly. Soil chemistry evolves. Insects arrive and disappear. The forest persists, but its identity is always in motion. Stability on Earth is dynamic. Even what we call cycles are not perfect repeats. Seasons vary slightly year to year. Climate patterns oscillate within ranges that slowly drift. Life adapts not to fixed conditions, but to variability itself. This ability to handle fluctuation is a form of resilience often overlooked. Rigid systems break, flexible ones bend. At the smallest scales, cells constantly repair themselves. Proteins fold and unfold. Damage is detected and corrected. Imperfection is expected, not feared. Life is designed to operate under the assumption that errors will occur. Correction becomes survival. At larger scales, populations regulate themselves through feedback. When numbers grow too large, resources thin. When scarcity increases, reproduction slows or migration follows. These responses are not coordinated, yet they produce balance over time. Earth relies on feedback more than control. This understanding reframes uncertainty. The unknown is not a threat to life, it is the space in which adaptation operates. Without uncertainty, evolution would stall. Without variation, there would be no movement forward. Change is not the enemy of continuity, it is the mechanism that allows it. As awareness exists within this system, it too must learn to move with uncertainty. Prediction remains limited, control remains partial, outcomes remain open-ended. This is not failure, it is alignment with how Earth has always functioned. Life does not demand guarantees, it requires responsiveness. As this realization settles, urgency softens into attentiveness. Instead of resisting change, systems that endure learn to sense it early, adjust gently, and remain flexible. Earth has practiced this for billions of years, and as we continue drifting through its story, it becomes clear that movement is not something to fear, it is something to listen to. Because nothing here is fixed, and nothing needs to be. The story continues, not by standing still, but by flowing forward. As everything continues to move, another quiet realization settles in. Life does not aim for control, it aims for responsiveness. On Earth, no system fully commands its surroundings. Instead, life listens first. It senses temperature, pressure, chemistry, light, and sound, then adjusts. This constant feedback allows organisms to remain aligned with conditions that are always changing. In the ocean, fish alter their depth in response to subtle shifts in temperature and currents. On land, plants open and close microscopic pores to regulate water loss, responding minute by minute to humidity and light. Even single cells adjust their internal chemistry based on signals from their environment. Nothing waits for certainty. Response comes first. This responsiveness creates stability without rigidity. Systems remain functional not because they resist change, but because they absorb it in small doses. When variation arrives gradually, life adapts quietly without disruption. Problems arise when signals overwhelm response. Sudden shifts compress too much change into too little time. Feedback loops lag, adjustments fall behind, systems strain. Yet even here, Earth does not freeze. It searches for new pathways. Some species disappear, others migrate, behaviors shift, relationships reorganize. What remains is not what was, but something capable of continuing. This is how Earth heals, not by restoring the past, but by forming new balances. Responsiveness also explains diversity. No single strategy works everywhere. What thrives in one environment fails in another. As conditions vary across the planet, life explores countless solutions. Speed here, stillness there, cooperation in one place, independence in another. Variation is not chaos, it is exploration. Over time, Earth becomes a mosaic of responses layered across geography and climate. Deserts, forests, oceans, and tundra each represent different answers to the same fundamental question: how to remain alive here. And none of these answers are final. As environments shift, responses shift with them. Diversity increases resilience, giving life multiple options when conditions change. When one path closes, another may remain open. This is why monocultures feel fragile. They lack alternatives. Earth favors multiplicity. As awareness exists within this system, it faces the same challenge: to remain responsive rather than rigid, to sense feedback early, to adjust gently rather than forcefully. Control promises certainty. Responsiveness offers continuity. This distinction matters. Attempts to dominate systems often simplify them, removing variation in favor of predictability. In the short term, this can appear effective. In the long term, it reduces resilience. Earth remembers this lesson well. Life persists not because it overpowers the world, but because it learns how to move with it. As we sit quietly within this understanding, the story feels less urgent and more patient. There is no finish line to reach, no final equilibrium to lock in place. Only an ongoing conversation between conditions and response. And as long as that conversation continues, life will keep finding ways to remain. As responsiveness guides life forward, another quiet pattern becomes visible. Life does not move alone through time. It moves in layers. Every moment on Earth carries multiple histories at once. Beneath what is new, something older remains. Beneath that, something older still. The present is never separate from the past. It is built directly on top of it. In a forest, fallen leaves decompose into soil. That soil feeds roots. Roots support trunks. Trunks shade new growth. What looks like decay is actually continuity, transformed into nourishment. Nothing disappears. It changes form and function. This layering happens inside bodies as well. Your bones contain minerals once part of ancient seas. Your blood carries iron forged in stars that exploded long before Earth existed. Even your cells operate using molecular pathways that first appeared billions of years ago in single-celled ancestors. You are not separate from deep time. You are shaped by it. Life does not start fresh. It builds on what already exists. Evolution works this way too. New traits rarely replace old ones entirely. They modify, extend, or redirect them. Ancient reflexes remain beneath conscious thought. Instincts guide behavior long before reasoning intervenes. Old systems do not vanish. They are repurposed. This is why progress on Earth is uneven. Change does not move forward smoothly. It loops, it revisits, it experiments again with familiar materials under new conditions. Even ecosystems remember. After disturbances like storms, fires, or floods, landscapes do not return to a blank state. Seeds stored in soil sprout. Microbes awaken. Patterns re-emerge, altered but recognizable. Memory lives in structure. Earth forgets nothing completely. This does not mean the past controls the future. It means the future is constrained by what has already worked. Possibility expands outward from history, not away from it. This layered movement creates depth. Life feels rich because it carries traces of many ages at once. The present moment contains echoes of ancient oceans, vanished species, long extinct climates. These echoes do not speak loudly, but they influence what can exist now. As awareness reflects on this, time itself begins to feel different. Not a straight line, but a braided flow, many strands moving together, sometimes crossing, sometimes separating, never fully independent. Earth's story is not written in chapters that end. It is written in layers that accumulate. And within those layers, life continues to adapt, respond, and persist. Nothing begins from nothing. Nothing moves forward alone. The planet carries its history forward not as memory, but as structure. And every living thing becomes part of that structure, whether it realizes it or not. As we continue drifting through this quiet exploration, one thought settles gently into place. The present is not a break from the past. It is the past, still moving.
As layers of time continue to stack, another subtle truth begins to surface. Life is not built for certainty. On Earth, stability is temporary. Conditions shift. Signals change. What works today may fail tomorrow. And yet, life does not wait for perfect clarity before acting. It moves forward with partial information, adjusting as it goes. This is why flexibility matters more than prediction. Animals rarely know what lies far ahead. They respond to cues available in the moment: a change in temperature, a scent on the wind, a shadow passing overhead. These signals are incomplete, but they are enough. Life does not need full understanding to survive. It needs responsiveness. Plants operate the same way. Roots grow toward moisture they cannot see. Leaves orient toward light that shifts across the sky. Growth follows gradients, not plans. Direction emerges from feedback, step by step. Uncertainty becomes a guide rather than an obstacle. At larger scales, ecosystems behave similarly. Populations rise and fall without foresight. Relationships adjust through pressure and release. Balance is not calculated, it is felt through consequence. When conditions remain within familiar ranges, systems settle into rhythms. When those ranges shift, rhythms change. Some patterns break, others form. The system moves on, carrying fragments of the old into the new. This acceptance of uncertainty is not weakness, it is resilience. Rigid systems demand predictability. Flexible ones tolerate surprise. Earth favors the latter. Even awareness, with all its capacity to imagine futures, remains limited. Predictions fail, expectations collapse, outcomes diverge from intention. And yet, learning occurs precisely because outcomes are not fully known in advance. Mistakes generate information. This is why exploration appears so often in nature. New behaviors are tried, new spaces are entered, new relationships form. Most attempts do not last, a few do. Those few reshape what comes next. Life does not optimize for safety alone, it balances risk and reward. Too little risk leads to stagnation, too much leads to collapse. Between these extremes lies adaptability, the ability to experiment without losing continuity. Earth has practiced this balance for billions of years. As we sit quietly within this understanding, the pressure to know outcomes begins to loosen. The planet does not require certainty to continue. It requires movement, feedback, and the willingness to change course when necessary. This reframes uncertainty as a feature of life, not a flaw. Not knowing what comes next is not a failure of the system. It is the space where adaptation lives. And within that space, life keeps moving forward, not blindly, but attentively, sensing its way through complexity, one response at a time. The story does not progress because it is planned, it progresses because it remains open.
As openness allows life to adapt, another quiet force keeps everything in motion. Time. Not time as measured by clocks or calendars, but time as experience, stretching, compressing, flowing differently across scales. On Earth, time is not uniform. It moves quickly for some lives and slowly for others, shaping how existence is felt and how survival unfolds. For a mayfly, an entire lifetime fits within a single day. Birth, flight, reproduction, and death pass in hours. For a bristlecone pine, centuries pass with little visible change. Rings form slowly, recording droughts, storms, and quiet years in wood. Both lives are complete. Neither is rushed. Life adapts not just to environment, but to tempo. Fast lives prioritize speed, quick growth, rapid reproduction, immediate response. Slow lives invest in durability, patience, and long-term stability. Each strategy fits the rhythm of the world it inhabits. Time also shapes perception. Creatures with rapid nervous systems experience the world as a series of sharp moments. Those with slower processing move through a more continuous flow. What feels sudden to one organism may feel gradual to another. There is no single pace that defines reality. Earth accommodates all of them. At planetary scales, time stretches even further. Ice sheets advance and retreat over tens of thousands of years. Oceans open and close. Species appear, diversify, and vanish. These changes feel enormous to us, yet they are brief within Earth's deeper history. The planet is patient. This patience allows for correction. Long feedback loops smooth out extremes. Slow processes absorb shocks that faster systems cannot. Over time, imbalance gives way to adjustment, not because of intention, but because persistence allows for response. Life synchronizes with these rhythms instinctively. Seeds wait for seasons. Animals time migration with subtle shifts in daylight. Corals spawn in precise alignment with lunar cycles. Time becomes a signal, not just a measure. Even awareness is shaped by time. Memory connects past to present. Anticipation projects forward. Together they create continuity, the feeling of duration. Without memory, moments would scatter. Without anticipation, action would freeze. Time binds experience together. And yet, time does not demand urgency. Earth does not rush outcomes. It allows processes to unfold at their natural pace, knowing that speed is not always efficiency. When change is forced too quickly, systems strain. When allowed to unfold gradually, adaptation finds room to work. This understanding softens the pressure to hurry. Life does not compete with time, it works with it. As we drift further into this awareness, the present moment begins to feel less isolated. It stretches backward into deep history and forward into unknown futures, connected by countless processes still unfolding. Nothing is late, nothing is early. Everything arrives within its own rhythm. And within that rhythm, life continues, not racing toward an end, but moving steadily, patiently, through time itself.
As time shapes rhythm, another quiet influence becomes visible: silence. Not the absence of life, but the space in which life listens. On Earth, some of the most important processes happen without sound or motion. Beneath calm surfaces, adjustments are constantly underway. Cells repair themselves, roots grow millimeter by millimeter, ice shifts under pressure, oceans exchange heat with the air above them. Silence does not mean inactivity, it means subtlety. In deep caves where light never reaches, ecosystems persist without day or night. Bacteria draw energy from minerals rather than sunlight. Time slows. Growth becomes almost imperceptible, yet life continues, shaped by stillness rather than change. This same quiet endurance appears in deserts. For long stretches, nothing seems to move. The ground hardens, plants retreat into seeds, animals shelter underground. Then, when rain finally arrives, the landscape responds almost instantly. Flowers bloom, insects emerge, color returns as if summoned. The silence was preparation. This pattern repeats across Earth. Periods of low activity store potential. Energy accumulates, systems reset. When conditions shift, response is swift and efficient. Even minds rely on silence. Moments of rest allow memory to consolidate. Stillness lets patterns settle. Without pauses, information blurs into noise. Awareness requires space to process. Earth seems to understand this instinctively. Storms release tension built over days of calm. Volcanoes erupt after centuries of pressure. Rivers flood after long accumulation. Silence and action alternate, each making the other possible. Neither exists alone.
Life learns to move within this rhythm, sensing when to act and when to wait. Species that cannot tolerate quiet often exhaust resources too quickly. Those that embrace stillness conserve energy and survive unpredictability. Silence becomes strategy. This does not mean withdrawal or passivity. It means attentiveness. Systems remain alert even when inactive, ready to respond when signals arrive. As we sit within this understanding, the quiet around us begins to feel less empty. It feels full of processes unfolding too slowly or too softly to notice at first glance. Earth does not announce its intentions. It reveals them gradually. And in that gradual revealing, patience becomes a form of intelligence. Silence teaches restraint. Restraint allows longevity. As this part of the story settles, the world seems less urgent and more deliberate. There is time to listen, time to notice, time to respond when response matters. Life does not demand constant motion. It asks for presence. And within that presence, Earth continues its work, quietly, steadily, shaping what comes next long before it becomes visible. As silence holds space for life, another subtle force guides how it unfolds. No two moments on Earth are exactly the same. No two leaves share identical veins. No two waves break in the same way. Variation is not a flaw in the system, it is one of its essential features. Within populations, small differences appear constantly. Slight changes in size, color, timing, behavior. Most of these differences seem insignificant. Many disappear without consequence, but some, in certain conditions, make survival a little easier. Life does not search for perfection, it explores possibility. This quiet exploration allows systems to remain flexible. When conditions shift, at least some forms are already suited to the new reality. Diversity becomes a reservoir of options stored in living form. This is why uniformity feels fragile. When everything responds the same way, a single change can overwhelm the system. Variation spreads risk. It ensures that failure is never total. Something, somewhere, is likely to persist. Earth favors this redundancy. Even ecosystems reflect it. Different species fill similar roles. Multiple pollinators serve the same plants. Various decomposers break down the same material. If one disappears, others can step in. Function matters more than identity. Variation also shapes behavior. Animals raised in different environments solve problems differently. Plants exposed to stress early may grow more resilient later. Experience interacts with genetics, creating outcomes that are neither fully inherited nor fully learned. Life adapts in layers. At larger scales, variation appears as geography. Mountains create microclimates. Oceans separate populations. Distance allows differences to accumulate. Over time, new forms emerge, not because change was planned, but because separation allowed exploration to continue independently. Earth becomes richer through difference. Even awareness carries variation. No two minds interpret the world the same way. Attention focuses differently. Meaning arises from unique combinations of memory, sensation, and context. This diversity of perspective does not weaken understanding, it deepens it. There is no single correct way to experience the planet. As variation accumulates, patterns still emerge, not because differences vanish, but because some arrangements work better than others under given conditions.
Order arises not from uniformity, but from selective persistence. This balance between difference and continuity gives life its texture. Too little variation leads to stagnation. Too much leads to chaos. Earth moves between these extremes, adjusting through feedback rather than design. As we sit quietly within this understanding, diversity begins to feel less like noise and more like resilience made visible. Each difference carries potential. Each deviation holds information. Life does not move forward by choosing one path. It moves forward by trying many. And as long as variation continues, adaptation remains possible. The story stays open. New responses can emerge when old ones fail. This is not inefficiency, it is preparation. Earth does not place all its hope in a single outcome. It spreads it across countless forms, quietly, continuously, everywhere.
As variation spreads possibility across life, another quiet force keeps it from unraveling: constraint. On Earth, freedom never exists without limits. Every form of life is shaped not only by what is possible, but by what is restricted. These boundaries are not obstacles, they are guides. Gravity pulls bodies downward, shaping bones, muscles, and movement. Water limits how large certain organisms can grow. Temperature sets ranges where chemistry remains stable. Even time places constraints, allowing only so much change within a single lifetime. Life learns to work inside these edges. Fish develop streamlined bodies because water resists motion. Birds hollow their bones to reduce weight. Plants spread leaves wide to capture light, yet reinforce them to withstand wind. Every design reflects compromise, a balance between competing demands. Constraint creates form. Without limits, structures collapse. Systems drift without coherence. Boundaries give life something to press against, shaping complexity through resistance. The same principle appears in behavior. Predators cannot hunt endlessly. Energy costs limit effort. Social animals must cooperate, but also compete for resources. Even awareness is constrained. Attention can focus only so much at once. These limits force prioritization, shaping decision-making and interaction. Choice emerges because not everything is possible. At larger scales, constraints regulate ecosystems. Nutrient availability caps growth. Space limits population size. Feedback loops prevent unchecked expansion. When boundaries are exceeded, correction follows through scarcity, migration, or collapse. This is not punishment, it is balance enforced by physics. Earth does not allow infinite growth in any direction. It channels energy and matter through cycles, returning excess back into circulation. Waste becomes resource. Endings create openings. Constraint keeps the system alive. Even creativity depends on it. Evolution does not invent from nothing. It modifies what already exists. Each new trait must function within the constraints of existing anatomy and environment. The result is not perfect design, but workable solutions layered over time. Awareness follows the same pattern. Thought is limited by biology. Memory fades. Attention narrows. These constraints prevent overload, allowing focus to emerge. Meaning forms not from infinite possibility, but from selective attention. Earth seems to understand this intuitively. Limits do not suppress life, they refine it. As we sit with this idea, constraint begins to feel less like restriction and more like structure, the frame that allows patterns to hold shape.
Without it, nothing endures long enough to matter. Life persists not by escaping boundaries, but by learning how to move gracefully within them. And within those boundaries, astonishing diversity still arises. This is the quiet paradox at the heart of Earth's story. Limits make complexity possible. Resistance gives rise to form. Endings allow continuation. Nothing here is unbounded, and nothing needs to be, because within constraint, life has found room to explore, endlessly, patiently, and with remarkable resilience.
As constraint gives life its shape, another quiet force gives it direction: feedback. On Earth, nothing acts without consequence. Every action sends a signal outward, and every signal returns something in response. This constant exchange guides behavior without instruction, shaping systems that appear purposeful without planning. In living bodies, feedback is immediate. Temperature rises, sweat cools, blood sugar drops, hunger appears. Muscles strain, fatigue follows. These signals do not explain themselves, they simply inform. Adjustment happens automatically, keeping the system within workable limits. Feedback becomes guidance. At larger scales, the same principle governs ecosystems. When prey populations increase, predators follow. When resources thin, reproduction slows. These responses are not conscious decisions, yet they regulate balance over time. Systems learn through consequence, not intention. Earth teaches by response. Plants demonstrate this quietly. Leaves grow thicker in harsh sunlight. Roots branch toward moisture. Growth patterns shift based on past conditions, encoding experience into form. What worked continues. What failed fades. Feedback shapes structure. Even landscapes respond. Rivers erode paths of least resistance, adjusting flow as terrain changes. Coastlines reshape under repeated waves. Pressure builds, releases, and redistributes energy across the planet. Earth listens to its own movement. Nothing remains fixed. Feedback also limits excess. When systems push too far in one direction, resistance increases. Growth slows, correction follows. These loops prevent runaway behavior, keeping life within ranges where continuation remains possible. Without feedback, systems collapse. Awareness introduces a new layer to this process. For the first time, feedback can be interpreted before consequences fully unfold. Anticipation appears, delay, action. Learning accelerates. But even here, feedback remains central. Predictions are tested, mistakes return information, behavior adjusts. Awareness does not replace feedback, it amplifies it. This amplification increases responsibility. Faster feedback means faster consequence. Small actions ripple farther. Choices echo beyond immediate surroundings. Earth responds accordingly, adjusting systems at new speeds. The planet does not resist this change, it integrates it. As we consider this, feedback begins to feel less like correction and more like conversation. Action and response shaping one another continuously, guiding movement without command. Life survives not because it avoids mistakes, but because it learns from them. Every system on Earth, from cells to climates, depends on this dialogue. Too little feedback leads to stagnation. Too much overwhelms. Balance emerges when response matches action closely enough to guide adjustment. Earth has refined this balance over billions of years. As we drift within this understanding, the story feels less rigid and more alive. Nothing is final. Everything remains responsive. Systems listen, adjust, and continue. Feedback does not judge, it informs. And through that information, life finds its way forward, one response at a time, guided not by certainty, but by continuous exchange with the world it inhabits.
As feedback guides adjustment, another quiet quality allows life to endure uncertainty: tolerance. On Earth, survival rarely depends on perfect conditions. Instead, it depends on the ability to function within ranges of temperature, pressure, salinity, light, and availability. Life does not demand precision. It allows variation. Many organisms can survive only within narrow limits. Others endure wide swings. This difference shapes where life can exist and how resilient it becomes. In tidal zones, creatures experience constant change. Water levels rise and fall. Salinity shifts. Temperature fluctuates. Species that live here do not resist instability, they tolerate it. Their cells adjust chemistry rapidly, protecting delicate processes from disruption. Flexibility becomes survival. In deserts, tolerance appears differently. Plants endure long droughts by sealing moisture inside waxy leaves. Animals tolerate heat by reducing activity, conserving energy until conditions improve. Life learns to wait within extremes rather than eliminate them. Even in cold regions, tolerance persists. Some organisms remain active below freezing. Others survive by allowing ice to form around their cells while protecting what matters most inside. Function continues despite harshness. Tolerance does not mean invulnerability. It means range. At ecosystem levels, tolerance determines stability. Systems composed of species with narrow limits respond poorly to change. Those with broader tolerances adjust more easily, absorbing variation without collapse. This is why diversity and tolerance often travel together. Different thresholds overlap, creating coverage across conditions. When one fails, another persists. Earth favors overlap. Tolerance also shapes behavior. Social groups tolerate differences among individuals. Variations in skill, timing, and response allow groups to adapt collectively. Uniform behavior limits options. Diversity within tolerance expands them. Even awareness carries tolerance. Minds capable of holding ambiguity adapt better than those demanding certainty. Curiosity tolerates not knowing. Attention remains open. Learning continues. Rigid belief resists feedback. Flexible perception absorbs it. Earth does not reward rigidity. This understanding reframes resilience. Strength is not resistance. It is the capacity to continue functioning while conditions fluctuate, to bend without breaking, to operate without control. As we sit quietly with this idea, tolerance begins to feel less passive and more active, a continuous adjustment unfolding within limits that are always shifting. Life persists not by finding ideal environments, but by widening the range of environments it can endure. And as conditions change across the planet, tolerance determines what remains. Not everything can adapt, but enough does. Enough to carry the story forward. Earth has always been a place of variation, pressure, and change. Life answers not with precision, but with breadth. Not with perfection, but with tolerance. Within that tolerance, complexity survives. Relationships hold. Systems adjust. And the quiet work of endurance continues. Patiently, steadily, as life remains present across an ever-changing world. As tolerance allows life to endure change, another quiet force gives it direction over time. Selection. Not selection as a conscious choice, but as a steady filtering process. On Earth, possibilities are constantly tested against reality. Most variations pass unnoticed. Some fade quickly. A few persist long enough to shape what comes next. Life does not choose what survives. Conditions do. When environments remain stable, familiar forms continue. When they shift, different traits gain importance. Slight advantages, better timing, greater efficiency, improved cooperation accumulate across generations. Over time, these small differences become defining features. Selection works patiently. It does not rush. It does not aim for perfection. It simply reinforces what functions under current conditions. When those conditions change, the criteria change with them. This is why adaptation never finishes. What helped yesterday may hinder tomorrow. Traits that once ensured survival can become liabilities when circumstances shift. Selection does not preserve history. It responds to the present. Even behaviors are shaped this way. Animals that respond effectively to danger survive to repeat those responses. Social groups that cooperate successfully persist longer than those that fracture under pressure. Patterns that reduce risk spread quietly through populations. Selection shapes habits as much as bodies. At larger scales, ecosystems undergo the same filtering. Species interactions strengthen or weaken based on outcomes. Relationships that stabilize systems persist. Those that destabilize them fade. Balance emerges not from planning, but from persistence. Awareness adds complexity to this process. When behavior is guided by learning, selection operates faster. Choices influence outcomes within a single lifetime. Feedback loops tighten. Adaptation accelerates. Cultural practices spread or disappear based on effectiveness rather than genetics alone. Selection expands beyond biology. Earth absorbs this shift without resistance. The process remains the same. Variation tested against consequence. Only the speed changes. This acceleration carries both opportunity and risk. Faster selection allows rapid adjustment. It also amplifies mistakes. Outcomes arrive sooner. Systems have less time to buffer extremes. Still, selection continues its work. Paths that reduce strain endure. Those that increase instability face correction. Earth does not enforce morality or intention. It responds to effect. As this understanding settles, selection feels less harsh and more neutral. It is not punishment, it is response, a reflection of what fits within current conditions. Life persists not because it deserves to, but because it works, and what works changes. This perspective softens the need for certainty. There is no final form waiting to be achieved, no optimal state to lock into place, only ongoing adjustment shaped by feedback and time. Selection does not end the story, it keeps it moving. And as long as conditions continue to change, as they always have, life will continue to explore, adapt,
and persist, guided quietly by what remains possible in each passing moment.
As selection shapes what persists, another quiet dimension deepens the story: interdependence. On Earth, no form of life exists in isolation for long. Even organisms that appear independent rely on countless unseen relationships. Survival is rarely a solo achievement. It is woven from exchanges that cross species, environments, and time. Consider how deeply life is entangled with chemistry. Plants depend on microbes in the soil to unlock nutrients they cannot access alone. In return, roots release sugars that feed those microbes. Neither partner thrives without the other. What looks like generosity is simply mutual necessity. This pattern repeats everywhere. Coral animals build reefs, but they cannot survive without microscopic algae living inside their tissues. The algae provide energy through photosynthesis. The coral provides shelter and minerals. Together, they create ecosystems visible from space. Separate, they fail. Together, they flourish. Even predators and prey are linked more closely than they appear. Predators regulate populations, preventing overuse of resources. Prey species influence predator behavior, shaping hunting strategies and social structures. Each pressures the other into balance. Conflict becomes coordination over time. Interdependence also stretches across generations. Forests rely on animals to disperse seeds. Animals rely on forests for shelter and food. Some trees only reproduce successfully when specific species are present. Remove one thread and the pattern weakens. Earth builds resilience through connection. This web extends beyond living organisms. Rivers depend on landscapes shaped by tectonics. Climate patterns depend on ocean currents. Ice reflects sunlight, cooling the planet, which in turn preserves the ice. Physical systems intertwine with biological ones, forming feedback loops that stabilize conditions for life. Nothing stands alone. Even awareness, which can feel isolating, is deeply relational. Language forms through shared meaning. Knowledge spreads through connection. Culture exists only because minds interact, exchanging ideas the way ecosystems exchange energy. Isolation weakens, connection sustains. This does not mean harmony is constant. Interdependence includes tension, competition, and imbalance. Relationships shift, some connections dissolve while others form. Stability emerges not from peace, but from adjustment. Earth does not freeze relationships in place, it allows them to evolve. As we reflect on this, individuality begins to feel less absolute. Boundaries blur. A body becomes a meeting place for many systems. A species becomes a node in a larger network. A moment becomes part of a longer exchange. Life persists not because it stands apart, but because it participates. This realization carries a quiet implication. To affect one part of the system is to affect others. Actions ripple outward through connections too complex to fully trace. Consequences travel farther than intention. Earth does not require awareness of these connections to enforce them. They operate regardless. As this understanding settles, responsibility feels less imposed and more inherent. To exist within a system is to influence it. To depend on others is to matter to them. Interdependence does not weaken life, it is what gives it strength. And as long as these connections continue to form, shift, and renew, the story of Earth remains open, carried forward not by isolated triumphs, but by the quiet persistence of relationship itself.
As interdependence weaves life together, another quiet influence shapes how the story unfolds: emergence. On Earth, some of the most powerful patterns are not designed, they arise. When many simple parts interact, something larger appears, something that cannot be found in any single piece alone. The whole becomes more than the sum of its parts, not through intention, but through interaction. A single neuron does not think. A single ant does not build a colony. A single water molecule does not create a wave. Yet when enough of them come together, new behaviors emerge. Ant colonies organize complex foraging routes without leaders. Traffic flows, labor divides, problems are solved collectively. No ant understands the colony, yet the colony functions as if it does. The same is true of brains. Individual neurons follow basic rules, send signals, respond to input, adjust connections. Conscious experience arises not from any one cell, but from their combined activity. Thought is not stored in a place, it emerges from patterns. Life builds intelligence by layering simplicity. Ecosystems behave this way too. No species plans the stability of a forest. No organism manages the climate of a reef. But through countless interactions, feeding, sheltering, decomposing, growing, systems form that regulate themselves. When one element shifts, others respond. Balance emerges without command. Order does not require control, it requires connection. Emergence also explains why prediction is difficult. Knowing the parts does not always reveal the behavior of the whole. Small changes can produce large effects. A minor shift in temperature alters migration. A subtle chemical change affects reproduction. Feedback loops amplify signals in ways that cannot be traced to a single cause. Earth is sensitive, not fragile. This sensitivity allows rapid adaptation, but it also means outcomes are often surprising. Systems respond in ways that feel unexpected because they are not driven by linear cause and effect. They are driven by relationship. Awareness exists within this emergent world. Thoughts arise from interactions between perception, memory, and emotion. Culture emerges from shared behavior. Meaning forms when patterns repeat and are noticed. None of this is planned in advance. It unfolds. This is why control remains elusive. Attempts to manage complex systems by force often fail, not because effort is lacking, but because emergence resists simplification. Systems adapt around pressure. New patterns form. Consequences appear elsewhere. Earth responds holistically. As this understanding settles, patience begins to feel essential. Change cannot always be forced in a desired direction. It must be guided gently, respecting the interactions that give rise to larger behavior. Influence works best when it aligns with existing patterns. Life persists not because it controls outcomes, but because it allows them to form. Emergence is the quiet creativity of Earth. The way complexity blossoms from simplicity again and again without instruction. And within this creativity, the story continues to unfold, shaped by countless interactions, none of them central, all of them essential. As emergence gives rise to complexity,
Another quiet quality determines how long it can last. Stability. Not stillness, but the ability to remain recognizable while everything changes. On Earth, stable systems are not frozen in place. They move constantly, adjusting in small ways to maintain overall form. A river keeps its shape even as every drop of water flows onward. A body remains alive even as cells are replaced. Stability is motion held in balance. Life depends on this kind of steadiness. Within living organisms, countless processes work to keep conditions within workable ranges. Temperature, acidity, energy levels, all are regulated continuously. These internal adjustments do not stop change, they guide it, preventing extremes from overwhelming the system. Stability is active. At larger scales, ecosystems display the same behavior. Forests recover after storms. Grasslands rebound after grazing. Oceans redistribute heat through currents, preventing runaway temperature differences. Disturbance does not end these systems, it tests their ability to reorganize. Those that reorganize persist, those that cannot fade. Stability does not mean resistance to disruption, it means recovery after it. This distinction matters. Rigid systems appear strong until they encounter conditions they cannot absorb. Flexible systems appear vulnerable, yet they survive precisely because they bend. Earth favors the latter. Over time, this preference shapes the planet. Regions that experience frequent disturbance, fires, floods, storms, often host life adapted to recover quickly. Seeds sprout after fire. Fish spawn after floods. What looks destructive from one angle becomes regenerative from another. Stability emerges from repetition. Patterns that restore balance repeat across generations. Those that do not are filtered out. Slowly, ecosystems settle into forms that can handle the kinds of disruption they regularly face. Even awareness relies on stability. A mind requires continuity to function. Memory links moments together. Identity forms through repeated patterns of thought and behavior. When stability breaks down, confusion follows. When it returns, clarity rebuilds. This balance between change and continuity shapes experience. Too much change fragments systems. Too much stability leads to stagnation. Earth moves between these extremes, adjusting through feedback rather than design. As we reflect on this, stability begins to feel less like control and more like trust. Trust that small adjustments, repeated over time, can maintain coherence without force. Life does not need guarantees. It needs the capacity to respond and recover. This capacity is unevenly distributed. Some systems are fragile, others are robust. Over time, robustness tends to persist, not because it avoids change, but because it survives it. Earth does not promise permanence, it offers persistence through balance. And as we continue drifting through this quiet exploration, stability reveals itself not as an endpoint, but as a process, one that must be renewed constantly, moment by moment, response by response. Nothing holds still, yet something endures. And within that enduring motion, life continues to find its footing, adapting just enough to remain itself while becoming something new.
As stability allows systems to endure, another quiet influence determines how they respond when pushed beyond familiar limits.
Thresholds. On Earth, change often appears gradual, but its effects are not always linear. Systems can absorb pressure quietly for long periods, adjusting in small ways that keep them recognizable. Then, suddenly, a boundary is crossed, and everything shifts. Water warms slowly, molecule by molecule, until it reaches a point where ice can no longer hold its form. A forest grows denser year after year until one dry season tips it into fire. Populations expand comfortably until resources fall just low enough to trigger collapse or migration. Thresholds mark moments when accumulation becomes transformation. Life is shaped around these tipping points. Some organisms live close to them, adapted to survive sudden change. Others avoid them, remaining within narrow ranges where stability is easier to maintain. Both strategies reflect an awareness written into biology, not conscious, but structural. Cells operate this way too. Chemical reactions proceed smoothly until concentrations cross a critical level, activating new pathways or shutting old ones down. Hormones remain quiet until they surge. Genes stay silent until signals awaken them. Nothing happens until it does. Thresholds allow systems to remain efficient. They prevent constant overreaction. Response is reserved for moments when it truly matters. This conserves energy and preserves balance. Earth relies on this economy. But thresholds also introduce unpredictability. Because change appears sudden, it can feel surprising, even when pressure has been building for a long time. The signs are subtle. The signals are quiet. Awareness often notices them only in hindsight. This applies to ecosystems and minds alike. Stress accumulates slowly. Patterns repeat. Small adjustments compensate. Then one more signal arrives and behavior shifts. A decision is made. A system reorganizes. Something new emerges. Thresholds are not failures, they are transitions. Earth has crossed many of them. Atmospheres changed, oceans transformed, entire groups of species disappeared while others rose to take their place. Each shift reshaped what was possible, opening space for new forms to exist. Life does not avoid thresholds, it moves through them. What matters is not preventing change, but navigating it. Systems that sense approaching limits can adjust earlier, reducing shock. Those that ignore signals are forced to respond all at once. Awareness offers potential advantage here, not certainty, but sensitivity. The planet does not demand that thresholds be avoided, it demands that they be respected. As this understanding settles, sudden change feels less like chaos and more like punctuation, moments where the story pauses, turns, and continues in a different direction. Nothing is lost entirely. Nothing begins from nothing. Earth moves forward through these turning points, reshaping itself while carrying fragments of what came before. And as we continue drifting through this quiet narrative, thresholds remind us that continuity does not require sameness. It requires the ability to cross into what comes next.
As thresholds redirect the course of systems, another quiet principle begins to guide what follows: recovery. On Earth, change rarely ends with collapse. More often, it is followed by reorganization.
What remains after disruption is not a blank space, but a field of possibility shaped by what survived. After a wildfire passes, the land appears empty. Trees stand blackened, soil is exposed, silence settles. And yet, beneath the surface, life is already responding. Seeds crack open in heat-altered soil. Microbes awaken, breaking down ash into nutrients. Insects arrive. Birds follow. The system does not return to what it was. It becomes something new. Recovery is not reversal. It is transformation with memory. This pattern repeats across environments. Coral reefs damaged by storms rebuild slowly, starting with small, hardy species that can tolerate harsh conditions. As structure returns, diversity follows. Fish arrive. Complexity grows. The process may take decades, but it unfolds in layers, each step enabling the next. Recovery favors patience. In living bodies, the same principle applies. Wounds heal through stages. Inflammation clears debris. Cells divide. Tissue reorganizes. Scars form where perfection is impossible, preserving function even if form changes. Life prioritizes continuity over restoration. Even minds recover this way. After disruption, attention narrows. Energy conserves. Gradually, patterns reassemble. Meaning returns through repetition. Stability reforms, altered but intact. Recovery does not erase the past, it incorporates it. Earth has practiced this for billions of years. After mass extinctions, life did not return to familiar forms, it explored new ones. Mammals diversified after dinosaurs vanished. Forests reshaped themselves under new climates. Oceans filled with unfamiliar swimmers. The losses were real. So were the beginnings. This does not mean recovery is guaranteed. Some systems do not return. Some transitions close possibilities permanently. But when recovery occurs, it follows a recognizable rhythm. Simplify, stabilize, then diversify. First the essentials, then the experiments. This rhythm allows systems to regain function before complexity. It reduces vulnerability while rebuilding resilience. Earth does not rush this process. It unfolds at the pace conditions allow. As awareness exists within these recovering systems, it too follows this pattern. After disruption, reflection slows, priorities simplify. Over time, curiosity returns, complexity rebuilds. Recovery becomes learning. This understanding reframes endings. They are not always conclusions. Often they are transitions into different configurations, shaped by constraint, memory, and opportunity. Earth does not promise that everything can be saved. It offers something quieter, the chance to reorganize. And as long as that chance remains, life continues, adapting not just to survive disruption, but to grow from it, carrying forward what works into forms that have never existed before.
As recovery reshapes what remains, another quiet influence guides what endures afterward. Memory. Not memory as a single stored image, but memory as structure. The way past experiences shape future response without needing to be recalled. On Earth, memory is everywhere. A forest remembers fire through the species that remain. Thick bark, heat-triggered seeds, rapid resprouting. The landscape carries lessons forward in living form, prepared for what is likely to return. A river remembers its floods through the shape of its banks. Channels widen, sediment shifts. Future water follows paths carved by earlier force. The river does not recall the past, it embodies it. Life works the same way. At the cellular level, past stress alters future behavior. Genes can be switched on or off based on experience, adjusting how organisms respond long after conditions change. This biological memory does not change DNA itself, but how it is used. Experience becomes instruction. Animals carry memory through behavior. Migration routes persist across generations. Nesting sites are reused. Warning calls retain meaning. Knowledge moves forward not through explanation, but through repetition. Memory survives because it works. Even ecosystems store information. Soil composition reflects centuries of plant growth and decay. Microbial communities adapt to long-term conditions, shaping nutrient cycles in ways that persist even as surface conditions shift. The ground beneath us holds a quiet archive of what has passed. Earth remembers without thinking. This form of memory gives systems an advantage. Responses become faster. Adjustments require less experimentation. What has worked before becomes more likely to work again. But memory also creates constraint. Systems shaped by past conditions may struggle when those conditions change too far, too fast. Habits become limitations. Structures resist new possibilities. Memory stabilizes, but it can also anchor. Earth balances this by allowing forgetting. Old patterns fade when they no longer serve. Species disappear. Landscapes transform. Biological memory resets through disruption. New responses emerge, unconstrained by what once was. Remembering and forgetting move together. Awareness intensifies this dynamic. Minds recall experiences, anticipate outcomes, and project possibilities. Memory informs choice. It allows reflection, learning, and planning. But it also carries bias. Expectations shape perception. The past colors the present. Earth responds to this too. Systems influenced by awareness evolve new forms of memory. Language, records, tools. Information extends beyond bodies, stored in structures that persist across generations. Memory becomes external. This expansion accelerates change. As we sit quietly within this understanding, memory feels less like something held and more like something lived. The past is not behind us, it is embedded in everything around us. In bodies, landscapes, behaviors, and systems still unfolding. Earth moves forward carrying its history within it. Not as nostalgia, not as regret, as structure. And through that structure, life continues. Informed by what has been, open to what comes next, remembering just enough to persist without becoming trapped by its own past.
As memory shapes what persists, another quiet influence determines how life responds to what it remembers. Choice. Not choice as deliberate decision in every form of life, but as a range of possible responses shaped by conditions, history, and capacity. On Earth, freedom is never absolute. It exists within boundaries, guided by what is sensed and what has worked before.
Even simple organisms display a form of choice. A bacterium moves toward nutrients and away from toxins. It does not think, but it selects between options presented by its environment. This basic discrimination, approach or avoid, is one of the earliest expressions of agency. As complexity increases, so does flexibility. Animals adjust behavior based on experience. They learn which paths lead to food, which signals indicate danger, which companions can be trusted. These choices are not abstract. They are grounded in consequence. Actions that reduce risk persist. Those that increase it fade. Choice becomes refinement. Awareness expands this process. With memory and anticipation, responses no longer depend solely on the present moment. Past outcomes inform future action. Possibilities can be imagined before they occur. This does not grant certainty, but it widens the field of response. Choice does not eliminate constraint, it navigates within it. Earth accommodates this shift without interruption. The underlying system remains the same, variation tested by consequence. Choice simply accelerates the feedback loop, allowing adjustment within a single lifetime rather than across generations. This acceleration carries responsibility. When choices influence systems beyond the individual, consequences spread outward, interactions intensify, feedback returns faster. Stability depends not just on survival, but on restraint. Choice becomes influence. Yet Earth does not demand perfection. It responds to outcome, not intention. Choices that align with system limits persist. Those that exceed them trigger correction, sometimes gently, sometimes abruptly. Life learns again. This learning does not follow moral rules, it follows physical ones: energy balance, resource availability, feedback strength. Systems respond to what happens, not why it happened. As this understanding settles, choice begins to feel less like control and more like participation. To choose is to engage with conditions as they are, not as we wish them to be. Earth offers options, not guarantees. And within those options, life experiments continuously. Some paths narrow, others open. Possibility reshapes itself moment by moment, guided by memory, feedback, and constraint. Choice does not sit outside the system. It is one of its expressions. As we continue drifting through this quiet story, the idea of agency softens. It becomes less about domination and more about alignment, choosing responses that fit within the rhythms that have sustained life for billions of years. Not mastery, not surrender, participation. And within that participation, the story of Earth continues to unfold, shaped by countless choices, most of them small, all of them part of a larger pattern still in motion.
As choice allows life to participate in its own unfolding, another quiet force shapes how that participation spreads. Influence. On Earth, no action remains contained for long. Even the smallest response sends ripples outward, touching systems far beyond its origin. Influence is not always dramatic. Often it moves softly, carried by connection rather than force. A plant alters the soil around its roots, changing which microbes can survive there. Those microbes affect neighboring plants. Gradually, the character of the land shifts. No single organism intends this outcome, yet influence accumulates. Small actions, repeated, reshape environments. Animals influence landscapes in similar ways.
Grazers open grasslands by feeding selectively. Burrowing creatures aerate soil, altering water flow and nutrient availability. Predators shift behavior patterns simply by being present, changing where others move and feed. Influence does not require dominance. Presence is enough. Even absence carries power. When a species disappears, gaps form. Resources go unused. Other organisms expand or decline in response. The system rearranges itself around what is missing. Silence, too, has consequences. Earth responds to what is there and to what is not. Awareness amplifies influence. Actions guided by intention travel farther and faster. Tools extend reach. Communication spreads ideas across distances unimaginable in earlier ages. Influence no longer moves only through bodies, but through information. This expansion increases reach, but also sensitivity. Feedback returns quickly. Systems respond at speeds that leave little room for delay. Influence becomes responsibility not because of morality, but because of scale. Larger ripples travel farther. Yet influence is never absolute. It interacts with countless other forces, many unseen. An action may shift one pattern while reinforcing another. Outcomes diverge. Consequences spread unevenly. Earth integrates all of it. This complexity makes influence difficult to predict. Intentions rarely align perfectly with results. Effects appear where least expected. Systems adjust in ways that feel indirect, even confusing. But influence does not vanish because it is unpredictable. It persists because connection exists. As we sit with this idea, influence begins to feel less like control and more like participation extended outward. To exist is to affect. To act is to shape conditions, however slightly. Even in stillness, influence remains. A forest stores carbon, a wetland filters water, a quiet body breathes, exchanging gases with the air. Nothing is neutral. Everything participates. This realization softens the boundary between action and rest. Both carry consequence. Both matter. Influence flows through being as much as doing. Earth does not ask that influence be eliminated, it asks that it be integrated. As the story continues, influence becomes one more thread woven into the planet's fabric, shaping paths, opening possibilities, closing others, not through command, but through accumulation. And within this accumulation, life continues to move forward, guided by countless small effects adding up to change. As influence spreads outward through countless small effects, another quiet quality determines whether systems endure: alignment. On Earth, survival is rarely about pushing harder. It is about fitting more closely to the forces already in motion. Life persists when its actions align with the conditions around it, when movement follows gradients rather than fighting them. Rivers do not carve valleys by force alone. They follow slopes. Water flows where resistance is lowest, shaping land gradually by yielding to gravity. Over time, this alignment creates forms more powerful than any sudden impact. Life learns from this. Seeds fall where wind carries them. Roots grow toward moisture. Animals follow migration paths shaped by terrain, temperature, and food availability. Alignment reduces effort. Energy is conserved. Efficiency increases. Resistance fades into motion. Even at the smallest scales, alignment governs survival. Chemical reactions proceed only when conditions match their requirements. Cells function within narrow ranges of temperature and acidity. When alignment is lost, processes slow or fail. Earth rewards fit, not force. This principle becomes clearer in ecosystems. Species that align with local conditions thrive. Those that attempt to impose themselves without adaptation struggle. Invasive organisms succeed only when their traits happen to match new environments. When they do not, resistance from existing systems limits their spread. Alignment determines reach. Awareness complicates this relationship. With the ability to plan and alter environments, life can temporarily override local conditions. Technology shelters bodies from heat, cold, and scarcity. Energy flows are redirected. Systems bend. But alignment still matters. When actions drift too far from environmental limits, correction follows. Resources deplete. Feedback intensifies. Stability weakens. The planet responds not with intention, but with consequence. Earth does not oppose change, it enforces coherence. Alignment does not mean passivity, it means understanding the direction of forces and moving with them. Sailboats do not fight the wind, they angle into it, converting resistance into motion. Life does the same. Strategies that align with energy flows, material cycles, and feedback loops persist longer than those that resist them. Systems that cooperate with constraints outlast those that deny them. This understanding reframes adaptation. Success is not domination, it is harmony with conditions. As we sit quietly with this idea, effort begins to feel different. The goal is not to control every variable, but to sense where movement is already happening and join it thoughtfully. Earth has always favored alignment. Mountains erode where water flows. Species thrive where resources converge. Cultures endure when practices fit their landscapes. Nothing here is random, and nothing is fully controlled. Alignment emerges through listening, to signals, to limits, to feedback. Life that listens survives. Life that ignores eventually adjusts or fades. As this quiet story continues, alignment reveals itself as a subtle form of intelligence woven through the planet, a way of moving forward without force, guided by the shape of reality itself. And within that guidance, life continues, not by standing apart from Earth, but by fitting ever more closely into its rhythms.
As alignment allows life to move with the world, another quiet element gives that movement meaning: perspective. On Earth, no single viewpoint captures the whole. Every organism experiences the planet from a narrow slice of reality, shaped by its senses, scale, and needs. What matters to one form of life may not exist at all for another. A bat navigates through sound, building a world from echoes. A bee sees patterns in ultraviolet light invisible to human eyes. A tree senses seasons not through sight or hearing, but through temperature, moisture, and chemistry. Each perspective is complete in its own way, yet none is universal. Reality fragments into experience. These differing perspectives allow life to fill spaces that would otherwise remain empty. By perceiving the world differently, organisms reduce competition and increase possibility. One creature feeds where another cannot. One thrives at night while another moves by day. Diversity of perception becomes coexistence. Even within a single species, perspective varies. Age, experience, position, and condition shape response. What feels safe to one individual feels threatening to another. What appears abundant from one angle feels scarce from another. These differences guide behavior, distributing pressure across systems rather than concentrating it. Earth benefits from this distribution. Perspective also shapes awareness. As minds become capable of reflection, they begin to notice not just the world, but their relationship to it. Meaning forms from comparison between expectation and outcome, between self and other. Understanding deepens not through certainty, but through contrast. Perspective makes learning possible. This is why conflict often arises where perspectives clash. Different needs intersect, different interpretations collide. Yet even conflict carries information. It reveals boundaries, pressures, and mismatches that systems must resolve. Earth integrates this too. Over time, systems adjust to accommodate multiple viewpoints. Niches form, behaviors specialize, boundaries shift. What cannot coexist separates. What can align persists. Perspective shapes evolution as much as environment. As we sit quietly within this idea, the world begins to feel less fixed and more relational. There is no single story of Earth. There are countless overlapping ones, each valid within its context. This does not weaken truth, it deepens it. Understanding grows when perspectives are held together rather than collapsed into one. Complexity survives because it allows many ways of being at once. Life does not require agreement to persist. It requires accommodation. As the story approaches its final movement, perspective reveals itself as one of Earth's most subtle strengths, the ability to host many realities simultaneously without forcing them into uniformity. And within this shared space, life continues, seeing, sensing, responding, each form carrying its own version of the planet forward, all of them contributing to a larger pattern none can fully perceive alone.
As perspective widens and many ways of being coexist, the story of Earth arrives at something quiet and complete. Continuity. Not a destination, not a conclusion, but an ongoing presence. Earth does not move toward an endpoint where everything resolves. It moves through moments, carrying itself forward through change, loss, and renewal. What persists is not form, but process. Life continues because something always remains unfinished. When one pattern dissolves, another takes shape. When one voice falls silent, others continue speaking. When one path closes, smaller paths open quietly at the edges. This is how continuity survives, not by resisting endings, but by absorbing them. The atoms that form your body have moved through countless forms before this one. They have been part of oceans, stone, ancient air, living cells long gone. They did not disappear when those forms ended. They shifted, waiting for new arrangements. Nothing here is truly lost. It is rearranged. Earth holds no memory of individuals, yet it preserves the conditions that allow individuality to arise again and again. Life does not depend on permanence to matter. It depends on participation in a flow that extends far beyond any single moment. This understanding softens the need for resolution. The story does not close, it breathes. Forests grow, fall, and return differently. Oceans warm and cool. Species appear, adapt, and fade. Awareness emerges in forms we recognize and in forms we do not. Continuity is not sameness, it is motion that does not stop. Even now, as you sit quietly, this process is unfolding. Cells are repairing, air is moving, water is circulating, energy is flowing through systems you will never see. Earth does not pause when we stop paying attention. It continues. And perhaps that is the deepest comfort hidden within all of this. Life does not require constant effort to endure. It has learned how to carry itself forward through balance, feedback, connection, and change. We are not responsible for holding the world together. We are part of how it holds itself. As this thought settles, urgency loosens its grip. The need to hurry fades. The pressure to conclude dissolves. What remains is presence, the simple awareness of being here within a system far older and more resilient than any single worry. The story of Earth is not something we finish listening to. It is something we drift within. And as long as there is movement, variation, and response, the story continues, quietly, patiently, carrying life forward, moment by moment, without needing an ending at all.